The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. The reunion is here, part one, season 5, episode 17. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the clothes, of course, the dresses, the fashions. What are all the ladies wearing? I will say it's supposed to be sometime a red purple theme, right? Um, the set is Bezos from like the first episode from the Bezos party that Lisa threw. So that's what the set is kind of based on. Um, I would say everybody's outfits are pretty basic, um, pretty normal, like prom or something. Um, so my best dress will go to Bronwyn and Angie. And finding out that Brittany had on the same dress as Angie, hmm, maybe she ain't as tacky as y'all was trying to say she was. She might have a little sense on her for her to pick out that kind of dress. I mean, not to say she did, because stylist and all that stuff. But I'm just saying, y'all, think about it. And Mary's dress, I'm looking at it right now, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, it's not looking good while it's sitting down that much. Maybe I don't even know. It's not the best, girl. Mary might be on my worst dress. Then maybe Meredith. Then Heather. She's always wears the same thing. Lisa, hers was kind of had a little something to it. Whitney's almost looked like Heather's. And the first cheer goes to Angie and Lisa. They get to sit next to Andy this year. I was a bit surprised at Angie. I kind of thought it might have been Bronwyn, but nope. It's Angie and Lisa, of course, because it's Lisa versus everybody. So Andy asked, should there be like a code word? What do you know when you need that word for somebody to stop? Yeah, he said. Well, at least Angie said you can pick Oprah for me, and Lisa said Bezos for me because he already know y'all sitting right next to me. I'm gonna be in the middle of a whole bunch of nah, 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 nah. So I need me a word that's gonna make y'all stop. So we go through all the pleasantries of everybody, by mitzvah Meredith. Congrats on Heather's book. Um, First class Lisa. Whitney wearing her prism. Robert Jr. doing good. Blah 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 blah. Does anybody want to set any intentions here or what y'all looking for to resolve? Andy asked this question. Only people who spoke up was Bronwyn and Whitney. Basically just saying that, Whitney wants to have a conversation with Lisa finally, that she can actually talk and have her listen instead of just yelling and talking all over her. And Bronwyn just wants, I want to kind of clean my slate here with some of the ladies because she watched herself back. So she knows that, there's some apologies I might need to owe some few people. And, we'll go from there. Okay, so the first question has to do with the Alibaba rumors and was she copying for her Prism? Was she copying that company for her Prism line for her jewelry? Basically, this is a Lisa versus Whitney slash versus Meredith conversation because the stock photos that Whitney used, she said that it was only up for a few days and they switched it once they finally it was supposed to be a placeholder until they actually got the jewelry made or whatever for them to make the new pictures to put it up. So it wasn't like they were trying to steal anything or use Alibaba's prints or copies for her own company. So they're going back and forth about, well, who made the blog and who had the proof. Uh, Lisa's lawyers, I guess his name is Sean, was supposed to be doing an investigation for her, and he told her that he didn't have no proof, whatever Whitney was trying to tell her about. And this all goes back to the podcast comments that Whitney said towards Lisa about her being a villain because Lisa didn't like that. So it was defaming her name and all this nonsense. So who put out the rumors about her Prism line? And that's what Meredith stepped in because she said, well, I talked to the dude and he said that there was no proof and that she was lying. And of course, Whitney was like, well, no, we all know the guy. I think his name was Adam. And he had the proof for me, so he's obviously lying to you guys because he told me what he told me, right? So they're going back and forth about who said what about the prison rumors. Um, Meredith says she brought it up only because somebody else mentioned it on camera, so that's how it all came to light, should we say, instead of going behind people's back to say it, like some people, which she's insinuating Whitney, I guess. Either way, uh, yeah, Lisa didn't have no evidence of who was leaking to the blogs. It's basically who was leaking to the blogs, and nobody had any proof. So with that whole situation between her and Lisa, I guess we'll have to come back to it because there really wasn't much resolve here besides that nobody had no proof about what it was. That's how I see it. Whatever Whitney proof that the man told her, he told her. He turned around and told Meredith something else. Lisa's gonna take whatever Meredith says as the Bible. So that's gonna be it. Bronwyn kind of popped in this conversation. I can't remember exactly what she said, but she did pop up just a little bit, I guess, in defense of Whitney. And Lisa was like, "Nah, Brian, when you stay out of this, it's not you ain't in there. You trying to get in it?" And she said, "Yeah, sure. I'll if you want me to get big with you, Lisa, I'll get big with you." And Lisa was looking at her like, "Girl, no." And all Brian was just trying to say was, there's a lot of repeating going on here about conversations, right? Because you said whatever you said, so it was repeated back to me. I repeated whatever was said to me back to her. She repeated it back. So you getting mad because I repeated something, but if Heather repeated it or if Meredith repeated it, then you won't be mad about it. But if it's Whitney, me, Angie, you're gonna blow up about it. So that's all she was trying to say. Meredith kind of jumps in again and they slight Angie. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'd be like, Angie, I know she just be getting hit with all the curveballs because how am I in it, right? And that's how she looking too because Meredith called her back a backup dancer. So how did we get from talking about Whitney and Lisa's in the blogs to Angie being a backup dancer for Sean or Jen Shaw? Girl, what? So they had to argue about that because apparently Monica and Angie was in the video with Jen Shaw doing a parody of the WAP. That's some, like that. So whatever. I don't know what Meredith was trying to do here. It kind of landed flat for me because it made no sense. Now, since we got Angie in it, we go ahead and ask her about her Twitter fingers because she wants to resolve things, right, with Lisa and whatnot. But you was on Twitter saying that she was cheating on her man for some lip fillers or something, and something about her getting her car, something about her G wagon. I don't know, but either way, she was being negative. You know what I'm saying? And she explains that she only did that, I guess, in the heat of the moment for whatever she felt at the time. So that's why she did it. But she doesn't feel that way necessarily now. Um, yeah, so it was weird how they just threw Angie in there. She do be getting hit with the wrong curveballs, but they could segue it out. Now, after we get through arguing about Angie and what she said on Twitter about Lisa and Meredith and all that other stuff and being a look and dancing for Jen Shaw and all this stuff because she ain't never been no backup dancer. She was standing on her own since she was 6 years old. Okay, girl. Anywho, Bronwyn and her necklace apparently on the internet and things like that, social media, people been questioning did she actually buy the necklace, the $4 million set that they showed her and Todd going to look at, right? She said she should have wore it on here just to prove it, which hey girl, I would have did it. Um, but basically she bought the necklace and the earrings, but she had the necklace redone in a smaller version. Okay. Lisa, on the other hand, tries to say that because Emma said that you ain't even buy nothing, and she was like, "What?" Now Emma is the jeweler who she was. I don't know if it was the lady that was on camera. actually, but she was the one who supposedly sold those things to Bronwyn. And Bronwyn was like, "Well, how's she gonna tell you something about my sales? Like, how does that work? Did you ask her that? Did I actually buy my stuff?" And Lisa was like, "Nah, she actually reached out to me. She texted me with this information, and she had a whole bunch of other stuff to say too." So basically, everybody is looking at Lisa kind of crazy at this point because don't know jeweler. What sense would it make for somebody to reach out to tell somebody's business about what they spend at the store? Ain't that breaking some type of confidentiality code or something like that? You know, some kind of HIPAA laws, but in a money way. So she like, okay, well then that means I need to go talk to Emma because that's something that going on between me and her. But for her to be reaching out to you, supposedly, girl, I don't buy it. Don't nobody else do. But I did buy my stuff and I do have it. And I guess what? I might have to go out and put when I get home. I'm gonna have to post the receipts. I'm gonna post me wearing it. Receipt, Todd bought it. It's real. It ain't fake, girl. They jealous? They must be. I don't know, girl. That was kind of messed up for Lisa to say. Because I'm like, girl, you kind of reaching now for her to take. And she does show the evidence to Andy. She shows him the text messages between Lisa and Emma. And he says, I mean, I see it looks like Emma has been burned by Bronwyn. And this could be the reason as to why she is reaching out to Lisa, behind her back. So, but like Bronwyn said, all right then, that mean I gotta go and have a conversation with said jeweler, and I might not be shopping with her no more. Shoot, she might go sue her ass or something. So since we on Bronwyn, we might as well go into her. We find out she ain't talked to Lisa in about a month. Lisa was like, or this, the Andy asked her about her bringing the friends on the show. And she like, yeah, I ain't bringing no more friends on the show. If they was going to act like this, like, what I'm saying? I didn't know that this is how it's going to be. Um, Apparently they're not the best of friends as they were claiming to be on the show. They only know each other socially, okay? So that's how Bronwyn got the invite to the show, as well as some of the other ladies on the show, like Heather, Meredith, whoop, whoop, whoop. Why did I just notice Brittany sitting on the side? Well, I did notice her on the side, but they wasn't showing her a lot on the camera until I just kind of peeked over just now. Just looked like, girl, you just sitting there. Oh, when the husbands came out, they did tell her to move. I did. Okay, okay, okay. She could have stayed. She could have bought Jared. I don't know why she didn't. So we kind of asked Heather about, do you regret how you treated Brahman on the show after you kind of watched it back? Because you were kind of being a mean girl, so to speak, if we can, use those, as an example of words. Um, and Heather just kind of feels that, she thought good of Brahma when she met her. She thought she had a good read on her until she went behind Whitney's back to say what she said about her. Like, that, oh, and when you was in front of everybody, Whitney's this, Whitney's so great and she's my friend. But then when she wasn't around, and you said, oh, I thought this and that. So Heather had to flip her mind and think, like, okay, I don't know about this Bronwyn girl. So, and Bronwyn just kind of says that, I guess when it came to Whitney specifically, and just to others in the group, that she did put Lisa on a pedestal above all the other ladies, as clearly we can see. And she was feeling, because she felt that that was her friend, she brought me on the show. So that's where my loyalty should lie, right? So I was trying to fix everything with Lisa instead of trying to go and have my friendships with the other ladies accordingly. And she apologizes for that. And of course, Whitney understands it. She, now they understand it now. It's good that you admit it. And Heather's her cousin. So she already know how Heather is and how Heather can shut down and turn it on, and how guarded she can be sometimes, especially after this whole Monica debacle. Like, Heather just don't see it for nobody technically. So the Palm Springs trip without Heather. So how did Heather feel about that, right? Heather was like, well, she kind of knew she wasn't going to be invited just on the fact that she's single. But when she was invited to Brown's house for them to talk, she kind of felt like she was sent there to grovel, like, oh, I have to plead my case for Bronwyn to like me in order for her to invite me. And Bronwyn was like, no, that's not what it was. I invited you over with good intentions to get to know you, to see where we went wrong, to try to fix things. And I mean, you took it the wrong way. I, I think, had she not came there with that mindset, then you would have felt a little better. And Whitney stood up for Brahman in this aspect, just to, like I see, Heather's my cousin. I kind of already know how she is. So, and I watched it and I could tell that those were not her intentions. So, is the weight loss going to Heather's head? Um, and this was a perspective coming from Mary because she's the one who kind of brought it up, right? And Mary was just saying that she notices the change in her. Um, you were a little bit darker when we first started on the show, but now you speak up a little bit more. You're more confident. Um, and it's not that it was a bad thing or good, or it's not that it was a bad thing is what she was saying. It was just uh it's just something that she noticed, and whether good or bad, I guess, because Mary can be, I was like, the way Mary be thinking, she halfway like Heather anyway. And Heather understood, and she was just saying how, I mean, technically she felt that she was the most confident on season one. Um, but that was more because when she was heavier, I think it made her maybe more defensive, to where she knew she had to be that way, um, or kind of forced to be that way, and so to speak. But now that she's, I guess, lighter and things of that nature, she don't have to worry about fitting her clothes and things. So it is a better Heather for her, and she's not trying to be a mean girl about it. It's just her newfound confidence. That's all. Okay, so we kind of shift a little bit to Bronwyn and Lisa with this Gwen situation, right? So the Gwen and her family was not supposed to be spoken about on the show, okay? But it kind of happened accidentally because, they went out to a spa, and Bronwyn showed Lisa a picture of Gwen's dad. Um, Not really thinking nothing of it, I guess. Just did it, because this is my friend. This is my friend, is what she's thinking, and I can start, getting deeper with her for her to understand me and my family more. Confide in her as friends should do, and it turned into a whole thing. Okay, it turned into a whole thing because Bronwyn expected for Lisa to, just have some sympathy, some empathy, sympathy, some understanding, sympathize with her, because you don't have to understand the feelings of it when you never been through stuff, right? Like uh like when people lose their parents or something, like people lost their mom, but other people haven't lost their mom. So they always tell them, like, well, you just don't know how it feels, this and that. Like, just think, like that example, right? So Lisa didn't give her that. What Lisa did was go back to the family and hear the family side of their, what I'm saying? Listen to what they had to say. But instead of having both sides, now that she knows both sides, instead of uh ugh, it's hard to explain, right? But you guys know what I'm saying, right? Because it's like Lisa, now she put herself in the middle. So with her, she's like, this is a lose-lose situation. because I know both people. I know both people are good people. And that's the problem, because you can like sympathize with me, girl, but don't keep telling me, but I understand them at the same time. Can you just say, Bronwyn, oh, I feel you, I hear you, I love you, whatever, and leave it at that with no buts? No buts, and I like them too. Like, if she, that's what Bronwyn wants. You don't have to tag on what you got going on with that family with me and what I got going on with my daughter. Keep it two things separately, but at the same time, yo, hear me. Like, but hear me too. Like, you heard them, but hear me too. Especially when you heard me first. No matter how good of a family that you think they are, or that they, you know what I'm saying, because they're not that. Look, they ain't that good if they never went to get their own granddaughters, right? So think about that. That's all. And we kind of go on with the conversation a little bit more because we showed a never before scene where um, it was mentioned that Gwen's grandparents thought that Bronwyn had a miscarriage, so that she'd never technically even had a kid connected to their family. So that's a reason that they didn't reach out, because they thought she never existed. Whatever, to that extent it went. There's an after show after the show comes on, which I never really watched. I probably should have, just because you get a little extra tea, where Lisa explained a little bit more of the situation, but it was more of in regards to the grandparents, right? So those things is what Bronwyn is trying to say. Like, it was something I wasn't really supposed to talk about. And when it came up, fine, we probably should have left it there, or, maybe not went into detail. But Lisa decided to go into detail when what she said extra on the after show in regards to the miscarriage and things of that nature. Because those were things that weren't shown on the show. So now those are things that are put out in the open into the light. So that's where Lisa went wrong, okay? And she does admit, because now Lisa's, she's hysterical. She's in and out of her cries. She's not crying. She's crying because she is, and Meredith spoke up for her in this aspect to say she is trying to show you that she's carrying Bronwyn. Because it's clicking now to her. She knows she did wrong. She's trying to say it. It's just the way that Lisa expresses it is something that Bronwyn just can't take. So, Gwen is 18 now. So Bronwyn just says that, look, it's up to her now. My parenting side of, my mothering, I did my 18 years part. She's 18 now. She can make her own decisions, and she will, move accordingly if she wants to move forward with the family or not. But it was just the fact that Lisa, before she moved and spoke, she just forgot to think about the consequences that it would have on Gwendolyn, Todd, Bronwyn, on their side, without just understanding the father side, because that's what Lisa is defending, and that's what Bronwyn just don't like it. Like, that's all. And Lisa, I mean, she gets it, but she don't. Like, like I'm saying, she knows it, but she doesn't know. I think she just don't know how to play the middle. Yeah, she just don't know how to play the middle. Instead of, because actually she didn't have to go and talk to them about anything at all. So, like I said, you put yourself in the middle of this, Lisa, but you really didn't have to. And now you don't know how to get yourself out of it because you don't messed up. And this lady is just looking for just an apology. And dang, girl. But something Lisa just can't quite give. At this point, we decided to take a lunch break. Everybody goes back to their respected, what do you call them? Dressing rooms. We see Lisa's pretty much emotional because they just broke her ass down. Um, Angie and Whitney go and eat together, and they just kind of talking about what just happened, obviously. And Whitney just points out that yeah, everything points to Lisa, but Lisa just can't see it. That girl, you might be the common denominator, but you might not know how to do no math. Um, Heather is back there, and she like Bronwyn is. She just basically thinking that Bronwyn is just a calculated lady, and she feels as if maybe there's an agenda there with her or what's going on. I don't know, but Heather ain't really feeling it. I guess after what just went down, because look, she just attacked your friend. Is that what you're doing here, Heather? Mm, we'll see. We'll see where we'll get there. Can't wait to season 2 actually, because the dynamics of this group has definitely shifted. So we're gonna see. It looks like how the couches are separated. This is gonna be the division. So, and Bronwyn goes to talk to Todd, just to kind of recap. And yeah, I like Todd because he was in agreement. I mean, I never did not like Todd. It was y'all fans out there thinking that he was something that he wasn't. And I see him for what he is. He old 60-year-old buzzard, right? 50, 60, businessman setting his ways, rich, ain't got to worry about so he don't want to have to deal with bull. And he see it, smell it, get that out of here. Easy, simple, peasy, lemon. And he said, and I don't even know if that didn't even go right in the right. Y'all get what I'm saying. And he basically, hey, that ain't your friend. This is a social friend. We know her through our galas and Sundance and parties. But girl, that ain't your friend. And Lisa Brown was like, yeah, you right. Maybe a social climb. See, Lisa do like to put herself around lots of successful people, but is it at some point she feels a little slighted at points because she knows they're so more successful than her? I don't know. See, it's a lot to break. I think we might can break down Lisa. We gotta start there though, because Lisa, you think you up here, but when somebody is a little bit higher, is that when the fire get to starting up under your ass? All right, so we're gonna end the show when we bring out the husbands, which I was actually surprised because we don't get husbands till like the last episode, right? Or sometimes two in the middle of two, or at the end of two, and then we, you know, but usually they're always last. But we decided to bring them out first on the first one, okay? Because like most of these shows, the husbands don't really be involved. They like to do their own thing over here on the side and let the women have it because this is their thing. It's not our thing. This is their thing. But every now and again, you get a group that will give us something, right? Because men have disagreements too. So before we get there, anyway, we're gonna start off with no Robert Senior. Mary said, we ain't, he don't even want to be involved, which I'm not sure, but I thought I heard they were getting a divorce at some point. I thought, but I never heard nothing else about it. I might have to look it up, but he ain't there because he don't want to deal with that. Okay, so we start off with Todd and Bronwyn because he is the new husband here. We did not get them last season, which I was wondering why, but because we could have got Sean then, but we're gonna start off with Todd. Basically, him and Bronwyn's relationship is stronger than ever. They both watched the show. They both understood where they went wrong with each other and with the group. So now they are basically learning from their mistakes and correcting. So they're good. Todd says that people just don't know them. So it's just, for them not even to know my name, how could they have such strong opinions about me, right? Okay, understandable. Like I said, because all these people have all these opinions about Todd. I don't even know him. And I'm like, just take it for what he is, you know? There's an old buzzer who's set in his ways, ain't got time for no bull. Okay? So Andy asked him were there some things that were off limits. And he says, yes, we weren't supposed to start off with Gwen. That was definitely one of them. And John interrupts and said, but who brought it up first? Ty said Lisa did. And he like, no, no, no. And when he was like, no, he's talking about the after show comment, right? Because it's more of the after show stuff, because that's where Lisa spilled most of the tea, right? So Brown was like, yeah, that's when she took it to camera. And in this kind of back and forth, Ty was like, all right, look, let me get this straight. What had happened was, and as he's getting to say this, John interrupts and says, watch your tone, man. And Ty said, no, I ain't gonna watch my tone. And this is where, and we gonna end the show because it's a to be continued. Of course, we got the roll, we got the roll, we got the rum. But this is very good show, very good season. They ain't missing on nothing, not name one episode. Perfect, 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 ladies, ladies, ladies. And I can't wait for number 2 because yeah, the men is fighting. And we still got to go through John and Justin. Okay, and then Sean, oh post Sean. Poor man, y'all be thinking he gay. I don't think he gay just because he a hairdresser. Oh my lord, he don't even look it. But anyway, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Salt Lake City. Peace out.